Hello, hello, I am back again. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what caused that. This is part 2. We are working in Daz Studio, so we're going to try and find a really nice HDRI. I don't know why they're HDR files, but HDRI I think means an HDR file that is encapsulated with a whole bunch of things that augment it to make it look right. So now I could probably take this HDR file and add a shade to it or something, but I'm going to just look for a different HDR file. So we go back into environment. And why is this taking forever? Okay. To load the environment options. I may have to restart my computer because okay, so we're going to go back to environment map. I got to wait a moment until this loads up. Yes, well, thank you. I'm glad you found me again, John. I'm not sure what happened there, but okay, so we're going to go browse. So what I'm going to do is I'm not really too pleased with the way this HDR looks. It's just not giving me that good of a light here. So what's this? Now, see, I can just, I just loaded a JPEG into here. You can't do that. So let's go back here to browse. What I do is just right click on the file and open in some kind of, in a Windows viewer, open, just to see what it looks like. And now this kind of looks nice. Let's just see what it looks like. And now this doesn't tell me the size, but let's copy. Let's go now back to HDR all and find it. And this was originally, this is an EXR file, so this is one of the Apple style. Okay, and now it should, okay, it's loading. Now we take this dome rotation and we bring it around here. Okay. Okay, now I have the X orientation brought up. Okay, let's just bring this back to reset the X orientation. Now let's see what happens. Let's look for some other ones. Okay, let's follow this path here, browse. Now we go back to our HDRI so we can look and see what we have. I'll look at these mountains and right click. This is what I envisioned at first. Open, open. This is perfect. Okay, so now, so this is 7.j. It's called 7, just 7. That's not going to be easy to find. So, but I guess it's 7. We go to HDR. It's just 7. .hdr. We have 9 also. So let's open 7. Now it's converting that to, now these aren't looking so great because remember we are in filament mode. So not sure why it's not showing yet, but Filament's still trying to. Sometimes filament won't won't convert an HDR properly. I have noticed that before. So here we go now. So let's go into Iray. This is going to be very nice, I think. Okay, now it's a little closer than I really kind of wanted it to be. So the important thing is that you connect to the image so that you know you have this image. Because when they're hidden down in your content library and you can't even view it. There's no way to view it through smart content. You can't find them in the content library because they're not in your content library. This is what really puzzles me, how a product can be sold and you have no way, within Daz to actually even find it and see it. Because it's supposed to be part of some grouping thing. Now, here is a thing that I just learned how to do. And I'm not sure how is you go into this environment tab, right? And you go backdrop. Okay, this is really kind of an interesting thing, okay? You go backdrop and then you go here and you browse and go to that HDR file, number 7 here, number 7 here. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but instead now we have a backdrop. And none of these work now. Okay, see, so suddenly, instead of that, then we can go back to our scene, turn back on ultra scenery. That's not turning on. I must have turned it off here. Okay, turn that on. Let's go back to here. Okay. Let's turn ultra scenery back on here. Let's go back to yes, but the backdrop I think still uses can use an HDR file. I'm not sure. See, I've just learned about the backdrop. Now it's off again. Okay. And how to use the backdrop. So we're going to test it out and see what happens. But what it just did was, instead of stretching that picture all around the entire scene, it put it on a billboard. And I think maybe with the backdrop you may even be able to get a cylindrical backdrop. I'm not sure. I think that I'm just learning about this. No rotation, or you can allow it to rotate, but it rotates flip vertical, flip horizontal, invisible in render. So I think it actually uses the emission settings of the HDR so it can light your scene. What's nice is that when you use a backdrop, that the distant light still works. So what I can do is take this distant light here, which is this distant light, and add one to the scene. Because the backdrop is only in behind your scene, it's not in front of your scene. So even though it is a flat plane, it allows you to still light your scene with a distant light. And the distant light gets through because it's not being blocked by if it's in front of your scene. So I'm going to take and go back into, see, I'd like to warm this up. Like to put some light on them coming from the front, like it's a sun coming from the other side. So let's go to the distant light. Let's bring it up a little bit. And so it's coming down a little bit at an angle, like this. And let's bring it from this angle, so he's got a little bit of shadow on his face. And now you can see what the plane looks like that it's put this on. This is very, very cool how this works. So then go back to your camera view. And then I'm going to warm the distant light up. I'm going to give it a little bit of juice. Let's go to a 2 here. And then let's bring the temperature down a little bit. Now let's go back to Iray and see if what's happening. You can change the color of the distant light. Is all very nice stuff. And what's nice is that this plane is so far away that it's not really going to be affected that much by your distant light. I think, I'm not positive. I think the plane is so infinitely far away that the distant light doesn't have much effect on it. So if you want to change the hue of your environment, so you don't have, I don't know that, okay, you can change, you may be able to change the color, and some of these settings may actually work on this background environment. Now we have this lit up here a little bit, and maybe we can even light it up a little more. So let's go back to scene. Let's try a 5 here. Yes, so it's so far away that, but now we can maybe change the color and the vibrancy of it. Some of these settings may work. Thank you, John, very much. Thank you. Now we're going to make this maybe even a little bit more. I was thinking about adding a VDB into this. Okay, so now let's see if we can, let's turn ultra scenery back off again. 9. Okay, that's not all right, we turn ultra scenery back off so we can manipulate things again. Let's go back into here. Now I think actually I don't want to go back, and I want to go here into okay, here we go. It's going to take a while to come back here. Now, I'm going to show you my favorite VDB product that seems to work in a lot of cases. So I have this, I just love these VDBs. I really, I find that whole thing so fascinating. Now, what I'm going to try to do is go to this environment tint. And first we're going to see if we can bring the environment up. See if some of these work with it, with the, because what it does is it just bypasses this environment map because you're loading a different background into the background, so that what it does is it just a minute. It defeats the environment map, but it may not defeat everything here. Let's bring this up to like 2 and see if the background gets brighter. Now that doesn't seem to, let's go to 5. Now see, these don't seem to work anymore. What about environment map? See, those don't work anymore as well. And so this is okay, the background color. What if we give this okay, so at least we can change the tint of the background, which is really nice. So we can change the tint here a little bit. So and if we bring it down, we can just change it a little bit. Make it kind of like the midnight sun. Like an old photograph. And then, okay, so none of these intensity things don't work. But what you can do with the background is there's only actually so much you can do. I don't know that you can actually make it any brighter. Let's set these back to reset, just so that they're reset. Now let's go into Iray, just in case maybe they're just not showing any in. Maybe these intensity settings don't show. Yeah. Yes. So the background, I was hoping that would actually work that way, because I was thinking that there's got to be a way to tint the background. And so without an image here, it's just going to change the color into one solid color for the backdrop. Now, backdrop is just none or backdrop. Okay, and so now we're in Iray. Let's see if these intensities work. The tint didn't, but it would be nice if some of these worked on this. You can understand why the draw dome doesn't work. So let's see, we're going to come back in a minute, and it should be like really bright now. No, so none of these work. The intensity, it looks like there's some kind of thing going on with the oh, okay, so you have to, I think you have to turn the dome off. Okay, 5, okay, so let's go back to reset. See, because he's glowing now. Turn the draw dome off, and I wonder if that turns the backdrop off. I don't think anything works here. Now, there's a possibility that the sun only works. Okay, see, now he's not glowing like before, so there's some kind of, with the dome on, there's some kind of ambient light coming from somewhere. Yeah, it appears, because like when we go up to, bring this up to say 20, environment intensity. See this? Yeah. So this is working somewhat. Now let's go back to, I certainly don't like that effect. Now it seemed to wash everything out, but this environment map, now let's go to 20 here with this. and see if maybe that is a way of bringing the background map up and down once you have background selected. No, it's doing the same thing that, and I don't understand the difference between environment intensity and environment map. They both seem to be doing the same exact thing. So let's bring that back to reset it back to 2. And the environment tint didn't do anything. So lighting resolution. So so if you want to go darker, you just have to bring your color. So so there there we go. Now what happens when we bring back in our grass? Okay, so now we have a distant light, and we turn this back on. I find that the distant light working during this is very important. It's nice to be able to have the distant light, because and not just have to rely on point lights and spotlights and other kinds of lights, ghost lights and things like that. And the plane lights, I'm not sure what I can't remember what they're called when you turn a plane into emissive lights. Yes, it does. It seems to ignore the environment settings quite a bit. And now this distant light, we can take the distant light and we can put now a color on that. And this should color everything so that so the grass doesn't look like it's just completely separate from the scene somehow. Well, it still kind of looks like that. Now, when we go back into our environment options, if we turn off, I wonder if we turn off and we go into this like dome and scene, if any of these change, we go into like scene only. If our backdrop will disappear. Scene only. Yeah, it looks like the backdrop just disappeared. So at least that top toggle. No, it doesn't. So, okay, and this is how we isolate our distant light so that it's not getting any kind of ambient light from the scene. So this works now, and so we can bring now so we have complete control of the light, and we can bring our distant light up in intensity a little bit more. So this is very nice. So yes, and I highly recommend turning the dome off and just going scene only when you're using this backdrop. Because I don't know where that light, it's probably coming from like ambient intensity, and now there's no ambient intensity at all. And you may be able to just turn that down to 0 and you get the same effect. Turn the intensity of the, so let's go to 9 here. Bring this way up and brighten our scene a little bit. Give some more, give the distant light some more light. There we go. Now it's starting to kind of pop a little bit. And now let's give this scene a VDB. Let's give it a smart content, some fog kind of, so it doesn't look so crisp. Now I could probably like use the camera field of vision kind of thing, the depth of field. But I think the fog would be really nice in this too, but I'm not positive about it yet. So let's see. Let's go to smart content, all products. And this is the one, this real fog Iray. I like a lot of these. I really like them all. But this one here has this particular prop, this spindly prop. I find if I move it around just right and set the intensity just right, that it can okay, so the thing is you can't move it. Now my Iray is like actually working, so I'm not sure what was causing that to not render all the way, but it is now. Now I'm going to just move this fog, and I could try to move it in Iray, but if I turn off ultrascene, I might be able to move it in Iray. Because the fog only, these VDBs, most of them only show up in Iray. Some of them have like this coating around them that allows you to see them. That's nice when the creators do that. So all right, now we're going to go Z translate. Okay, Z. Let's go out. I can't move this in Iray. So we're going to select this and go as soon as we are out of Iray and into texture shaded mode. Okay. What I'll do is I usually try to put the fog right in behind my character. And then also yes, I use Filament when I want to see my HDR. That's pretty much when I use Filament, and I'm usually a texture shaded person where I go more to the texture shaded and back and forth from texture shaded. Because I work with a lot of like really, really, really complex scenes, and Filament is just enough in between where it can be it tries to show a little. It's like in between Iray and some, especially when I have like hair problems where I'll put like hair on my character and then suddenly nothing seems to work. Everything seems to freeze up, and so texture shaded mode may be the only way to and I don't think the VDBs don't show up in texture shaded mode as well. I mean yeah, see, so it's not going to show me the VDB here. Now we're going to bring this even back more like that. So now let's go back into the only time I use filament mode is when I want to see, believe it or not, and it does look nicer than texture shaded mode, but I am in the habit of using texture shaded mode, and so the only time I use it is when I need to see my HDRI, because it's the only one that will show an HDRI other than Iray. But you're probably right, because it does give you more of a, okay, so this isn't too bad. Now for some, okay, my ground is off, so it looks like it's just floating in the air. Now what I can do is take and go down to this smoke cube here, go to surfaces, smoke cube, and just lower the multiplier down to maybe 1. There we go. Now that should give me just enough of a fog here. And it looks like it's sort of almost up to him here. Now we can turn on ultrascene. And I still may use yeah, see, I used to do the Photoshop. I usually actually I prefer to make my entire image in Daz with very little post work, and usually the only post work I normally do, which I am definitely, John, I'm not against post work, not at all, not even slightly. The only reason why I'm against post work is because when I want to come back to my scene, I want to be able to load it in Daz and have it look exactly like my finished product. And maybe it's because I'm lazy, or maybe it's because I don't want all kinds of steps that take me away from. I like to be able to go back to a project and have it complete. That's why in music I don't like make a stereo mix of my music and then bring it into a program and master it. I mix and master simultaneously so that I can open the project and play the song and say, this is it. And I can, in that same project, I can go back and tweak the drums or tweak something and turn something up or down a little bit. And my master is right there. I like my project so that when I load my project, it's completely there and ready to use. And so that's why. It's not because I'm against post work. It's because I think it's a little bit of where I don't want to have to redo all of my post work because I found out there was some kind of wardrobe malfunction or something in my image. And then I have to go back and redo all and remember all of the Photoshop filters and things that I added. And I own Filter Forge, and I have the lifetime update. So I was like, I don't know how much I paid. I think I paid them $800 for Filter Forge, and it was so I love filters. I love Photoshop filters, and I love and I also love I own all of the brushes that were made that are sold. There's one particular guy who sells all these brushes on, and I have them all loaded in Photoshop, all the different splash brushes and all of the different fog brushes and ice brushes, and I do know how to use them as well. I spent some time learning, and I also like to bring those brushes into, I prefer a transparency, bringing those brushes into Daz and using them as a transparency. I'm back into this problem where it's not like showing me the Iray, it's just like stopped for some reason. And so but I have a feeling that this is what I'm looking for here. So we're going to save this. And so I prefer using transparencies so that the effect that I'm looking for is actually in Daz. And so what I do is I load it onto a plane, and then I create in Photoshop. I create the what's it called, the normal map, or it's the inversion of it, where it's a black and white image and a cutout, the cutout map. Yeah, the cutout. And sometimes I'll make it an emissive, and I will use it in Daz. So that my image has that finished look. Yeah, it's just so that when I open my scene will always, and the only problem with that is that if you create if you create your own image, it's not saved in Daz. And so it's going to pop up and say, well, where is this image? I can't find this image. And that's why I keep all of my projects in this one folder, this gigantic hodgepodge of so that if I create an image that goes with a file, I will take it out of and put it in my Daz project folder, and so they will be all there in the project folder. So now I'm going to try to go out of this and back in and see if this will work. Now I think the background is probably too red. It should be like a little bit more orange to kind of meld more into the scene. So I don't know if I've even approaching, and there's a way to tell how big your project is. I think I have to restart my computer because I installed the latest NVIDIA driver. Well, it's letting me back here. So I'm going to go into the environment and change that so it's a little more orange and a little less red. I really like this whole background environment thing. I really like that part of Daz. It's something that I think I'm going to use a lot. Now these RGB, I don't know if you know how this is, but these three numbers, they're RGB. So red, green, and blue. And so anytime you want to take and say, oh, I'd like to have a little bit less blue in here, so just bring this down to take the blue out. And let's add a little bit more. And we're going to go a little bit. So we'll add a little more green and blue to actually. And okay, that's a little too much. There we go. I think that works. Now let's save this. It just didn't look like it kind of flowed into the background. And so now I'm going to go into my render. Okay, I think I want to keep the detail here because it's kind of far away. I don't want to blur all this mountain stuff out. So I'm going to keep the detail there. There's no reason to take the detail out other than, and I think this dragon's more detailed in Iray than he is in this texture shaded mode. Let's see what this looks like in filament mode. It's not going to show me my... Yeah, see, there's more detail in the dragon than what's really showing in... It's like there's no point in having a very highly detailed, like 18, like 18K HDRI in the background if you have like a dragon that's only like 2K, you know, and it's just going to look like a blurry dragon and then this 8K, 18K sky in the background. So you just kind of have to set everything to your lowest quality thing and it's not, I don't recommend that. I would just like try and find a texture that's better. Now okay, this is what it looks like in Filament. Okay, so, and Filament is not showing, okay, Filament, okay. Yes, I think the backdrop, I'm going to use this backdrop a lot more. Because what's nice is that you can take like a low quality, like a 4K HDR and load that into the background. And then it will show you the whole HDR, which will give you like a 4K picture rather than stretching it all the way around the scene. And then your background is really only like, 800 resolution rather than 4K, and you get to see the whole scene. It's like a large vista rather than something stretched out like only the side of a house or something. And so this backdrop, and I used to do this all the time, but I used to just put a plane in the scene and then I would load the image into the emissive as well. And so that's the way you turn any JPEG. You can turn any JPEG into an HDR by just loading the same JPEG into the emissive and then turning the color from black to white. And then you've got an HDR. So there's no mystery to these HDRs. You just turn the plane into an emissive. And if you have problems, then you load the image into other parts as well, so that the emissive doesn't blow out the colors, So now let's go back to, all right, now I'm going to set, what I'll do is I'll do a test render because I've got my render settings now to render settings general to 4000. Let's do a 2000 render, quick render, just to see what this looks like, and optimization. Now with 23090s, I could render this scene within 10 minutes and have like be up to 1,000 iterations. So, and well, at two, I could be up to 1,000 iterations in about 10 seconds, 20 seconds, at 2,000. So let's see what we have now. Progressive renders. So I want to make sure. Well, let's go to maximum samples and maximum time, and turn render quality off. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. Yeah, watch this go. Like 10 seconds, be almost up to 1,000. Yeah, it can. I've seen it go up to like almost 1,000 iterations in like 10 seconds. It takes a while to load all that original stuff, the initial stuff, but then once it starts going into the iterations, okay, let's see what we've got here. It's loading all the geometry. That's what takes time. Updating sections. Let's see how quickly these iterations go. Scene update. Back. See all these different things that load: lens, data, volume, environment, materials, updating. Okay, look at those go. See, this is what there was. What it was took like a minute and 6 seconds for all those others to go. But we're already up to 200. Like I said, it's like probably like 3 minutes. It'll be at 1,000 iterations. Let's see what it looks like. Hello, what happened to my image? Daz, come back, render a window. Okay, there it is. All right, here it is. We have a little bit of fog here, and it does blend, the background does meld into the scene now. It doesn't look like he's floating on the ground. This dragon looks like it needs sub D put to him, added to him. These are not as jaggy looking. But maybe it's just me. And see, this texture is not too bad on the dragon. It doesn't look really terrible. So I wish I could give him I wish the dragon was like based on the Genesis 8 male or Genesis 8 figures, so I could just use a regular human eye there, or some of the Genesis 8 eyes. You don't have a lot of options with this dragon. So here we go. This background drop really is working here. I think he needs like some kind of hair. So that's the beard boss. And I think the beard boss, when I put it on him, it slowed him down like considerably. I couldn't move him then. It's either this armor, or it could have been the helmet. I don't know. Something just all of a sudden I couldn't move his fingers or anything. It just slowed him right down. Usually you just turn them off and then you can, but sometimes you have to just delete them off the character, and then it'll allow you to manipulate the character again. So we're like over 1,000, right? 3,000 in 4 minutes, 3,000 iterations. So, you know, having the two graphics cards, you know, I'm not going to complain and say, well, you know, I don't need that many CUDA cores. You know, it's nice to have them. It really is. This is done. Okay, so this image is done. It's nice because I render all of my images at 10,000. And the reason why sometimes I render them over 10,000, like I'll render them at 15,000 to like 13,000. And the reason why is because sometimes I sell these images on like products like coffee cups, and I've sold a few art pieces. And so not a lot, but I've sold a number of them, okay? And so I'll put them on like coffee cups, but sometimes I'll put them on like bedspreads, and in order to put an image on a bedspread, you have to have a 13,000 pixels on a large bedspread, like a master, like a king size bed duvet. You have to have an image that is 13,000 pixels by like 12,000 pixels. Seriously. And so, or else you'd have to stretch, up sample your image to fit the bedspread. And you don't want to do that because you want the bedspread to have a native resolution of a very, very high quality product. And the thing is that yes, I can render this at 13,000 pixels in Daz, but what if the dragon here, if he's only got 2K skin? Well, then you're going to see the little dots. That's why you want to make sure everything in your scene has really nice. You don't want to just use some old Michael clothing on your Genesis 8 figure or something. Michael 4 clothing, or something. You want to make sure that all of your, and that's why it's important to take a 4K background like this and use it as the backdrop. See, notice that it looks like there's a little bit of banding here in the color. Just a tiny bit. And I'm not sure if that can be fixed. That may be in the HDRI, in the HDR file. Okay, let's call this is called Viking Chief, but I don't know what I'm really going to call it. Viking Warlord or something. I don't know. Dragon, Viking, Killer, Viking. I don't know. Viking Chief. But I thought I would call it, say, and I was like, no, it can't be Viking King, because that just doesn't quite. So I don't know. But my brain just said Viking Chief is fine for now. And so, yeah, so so if you're going to render something that large, like a bedspread, then it's going to be so big that if you have something in the scene that doesn't have a really high resolution, excuse me. Yeah, if you have something in the scene that doesn't have a really high resolution, you're going to notice it. The same thing with shower curtains. Yeah, so what I will do here now, so I render everything at least at 10, everything I make, I render at least at 10,000. 10,000. So I come right in here to this general and I just type in 10,000. And that's big enough for most things, but 10,000 is not big enough for a duvet. It's not big enough for a king-size bedspread. I would have to take this 10,000 pixel file and go into Photoshop and upscale it to 13,000 in order to natively fit a king-size bed. Now, it would fit a wall poster, and it would fit a shower curtain, but it wouldn't fit a king-size duvet bed. And so, and like, having, you think of some kid or something, they're not going to have a king-size bed, but, they're going to have, if their parents want to buy them a Viking with a dragon on it and put it on their bedspread or something, which I'm not saying that would be the most incredible thing. If I was making kids' bedspreads, I would probably do something a little more cartoonish and a little bit less violent. So, but, maybe outer space or something like that. Little green aliens. But so that's the idea, is to not, if you're going to render something that big, not to put something in the scene that you can just look at and say, oh, what a horrible texture that's on the house. It just looks like an old texture, and you have to retexture things so that so that nothing in your scene is going to, at that size, become obviously really low. Topaz gigapixels for enlarging. No, I haven't. I haven't really had to upscale, use an AI type of upscale for my images, because I have all of my shaders that are very high quality, that if I find that something like a wood grain or something on a house or on a barn or something isn't really that good, then I can isolate that. Usually I can isolate those surfaces and put something there that is better. And because you can't tell, like looking at it in this viewport, and this is another reason why you want to render, because now I'm going to take and put this at 10,000 and I'm going to click render. Okay, it's ready to render. I'm not sure that it's done, but like, okay, the dragon's eye, that's something that's really terrible right now in this scene. And so the only way you're going to tell if something is off in your scene is to render it very, 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 very large. And so, and this is when you render it large, like at 10,000, you're going to see that I'm going to be able to look now and say, his finger is going right through the staff that's holding the hatchet. That's the only way you're going to see those problems with your or like his cape is going right through, his hair is going right through his cape. That's the only way you're going to see stuff like that. So you have to render your images that large so that you can tell what's going on in the image. Now, this is what 10,000 looks like. So when you get to 10,000, you can see and say, well, this all looks good here. It looks fine here. Now, look at this. See his glove right here? He's got little poke throughs. This is going to show up on a bedspread. The little poke throughs there. I wouldn't have been able to see them unless I rendered this at 10,000. See, so this looks okay. Everything else, I think that I should close the fingers, and I need to use Mesh Grabber and pull these little pieces out, okay? So it becomes evident, and then you get to look and see, like, really, how good is this backdrop? And then you look at that and say, oh my gosh, look at how really nice that looks. And now I'm probably up to like 50 iterations. This has got to go in order for this fog here effect, for the VDB. And I will always use a VDB over a if I can, because the problem with putting, like, using a plain VD, like brushes, and you taking the brushes and taking them out and bringing them into Daz and then placing the plane is because sometimes the lighting will hit that plane and just reflect off, and then I have to go into the surfaces and try to get the plane to be less reflective, and there's just so many problems with Yes, they do. 10,000 pixels, like right now I'm up to 109. That means that within probably 20 minutes this could be up to about 2, it could be done up to about 2. I generally I like to have no less than 2,000 iterations for every image. So if I render something at 2000 pixels, I still want to bring it up to 2000 iterations. Sometimes more if there's a lot of VDBs in the and if it's a very dark image where there's a lot of shadows and stuff, then I will want to definitely, then I might want to go even up to 3,000 and 4,000 iterations. So this this will take probably about 20 minutes. We're up maybe more than that to go up to 2,000 iterations. I'm gonna let this render for now, because I don't know why I can't seem to alternate tab to bring that up that way, but I think I have to restart now. So now we get into the dragon, and you see this really bothers me, these edges. I think that I have to put sub D on the dragon and smoothen them out a little bit, because they look horrible. But the texture's not that bad, but it doesn't look really like. So really, this dragon is the thing dragging the image down, because you can see the textures. I mean, what's the point in having, like I said, like having the background be, so detailed like this? And this will all rectify by the time it gets up to 2,000. See, and now this tells me also that his gloves here have some spots there and there, one right there. See, I wouldn't be able to see them at all if I had. Now, look at the detail in his suit and in this. So this all looks really, and the detail in the grass. This Britannia, the Britain add-on for this is all very nicely detailed. Even up close it is. Even up close, this all looks very nice. So it's the dragon that's look at this. This is all just, I wouldn't know this. See, because looking at this, well, if in Iray, the dragon looks fine in this little teeny picture, but when I go here, that's, you look through his mouth and you're seeing all this detail, and then in his skin, something that's up close, it's just horrible. And that's because the dragon is probably 5 years old. It's been probably 5 years since maybe this dragon came out. And so it was one of the first things that I bought was dragons. And so the thing is that they have all of these textures for dragons in the Adobe Surface. What is it? The Surface Designer or something like that. Yeah, well, it was always overnight for my machines. And so even when I had a 1080 Ti, or not a 1080, I just had a 1080, RTX 1080, even when I had the 1080s, I would leave, and I would still render at I was used to render, I just kind of now go to 10,000, but I used to render everything with my 1080 Ti at 13,000 pixels by like 12 something is a special number. And so that you use, so that what you do is you render it for the largest product they sell. And so they sell coffee cups. You certainly don't need 13,000 image for a coffee cup image. But for a bedspread, you do. So what you do is you say, well, what's the largest possible product you sell? And what is the largest? So you render for that. But then there's some more complicated stuff, because some images, some products want a portrait image, and some products want a landscape image. And so you have to, sometimes you have to render things 4 and 5 different dimensions in order to accommodate every product that they sell. And so But this is very important too. And now even this, I thought, well, his teeth look fine, but actually his teeth have some problems too. They're not round here. They've got little jaggies. So let's cancel this. So I know that I have to fix his gloves. I would love to get some kind of going into like what is it, the Adobe Designer, Surface Designer, or something like that. I'm not even going to save this, but going into Adobe, so even when it would take all night to render a 13,000 image, but by the next morning it would be at least 1,000 iterations, and that would be enough. And so I'm not going to save this. Now what I'm going to do is, let's go back into, see, also with this render mode, the filament, it's always blown out. And like with texture shaded mode, that's the difference. I don't really care for it being so blown out when and I know you can go in and set that. You just go add the filament texture thing and filament options, and then lower the filament options. But that's just an extra step that. So I don't use filament mode except for the background. and what's really cool is that it shows the environment, the backdrop. And I've always noticed that it shows backdrop. It always would show a backdrop if I put it on a plane. So, but it's showing the backdrop here, which is nice, which means I don't probably, unless I use an HDR and for the entire scene, I'm not going to need to use filament for even less now than what I was before. Now let's take and select this dragon and just see what's up with it. So let's go to Object, Geometry, Convert Sub D. Okay, so it's already converted. So let's go to this dragon and let's see if we can find the dragon and go down here to Sub D level. And let's give it some more. Let's just go all the way up with it. And now let's go to perspective view and zoom in and see if this rounded some of these pieces. Well, it looks a little rounder, but it doesn't look like it really. I bet it rounded the teeth. So even if you zoom, see, it's still got a little bit of. So now I'm wondering if I have textures. Well, thank you, John, for hanging out. And I really, really love having you here. So thank you very much. Have a good dinner. And I probably need to go and cook something myself, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit. So I may be here when you come back. I'm just I have to work on some music today too. So I will. So thank you for hanging out. Have a great dinner. And it's been nice having somebody somebody to chat with. I love chatting with people about, because I learned stuff from you too. So that was very nice. You sharing the. I'll be able to look down through the chat. You talked about an upscaling program. So very good. So take care. I will see you if you come back. It will be very nice to chat with you. Awesome. Thank you. It's great to have you here. Very good. Take care. And I may be here. I'm on the back tail of this. I'm thinking of trying to find some kind of other texture for this dragon. So, all right, stop in. You'll get to see the progress. You probably won't miss much. So I'm just plugging along here. So, yes. So thank you. Thank you for coming in. All righty. Thanks for hanging out and chatting. Very good. Very good. Now let's see what we can do with this. If I've got another dragon texture. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but let's see what we can find for this dragon texture. So we got this crystal dragon and we have this dragon textures. Okay, markings. Here we go. Hellborn. Oh, there we go. Suddenly we have better textures for our dragon. Now, all files. What else is here? Red markings. I don't know what the difference between these is. H dot materials. Yes, there's so many things. Okay, I don't know. It says markings. Now, that's all files. So this is all this that comes with this. Materials. Okay, skin. All right, it just gives us better skin. So there. Now that you have to purchase this, okay. And this is Daz Dragon 3, Hellborn Dragon. Now it says HD on this Hellborn Dragon, but that doesn't mean high definition. It means high density, which means, and for a gigantic, apparently this is, it's very high resolution for the. Let's take a look at this dragon in wireframe mode. See now, if you can see this, it's high density because like of his teeth and all, they're very high density. But like if you look at him, he's a lot more a lot more dense. Then probably even his face is much more dense. So, but the dragon is so huge that it takes a lot of geometry to make the dragon. So let's go back here. Let's see what this looks like now in Iray. Now the thing is that I can take his surfaces, skin, head, tongue, wings, claws, wing membrane, and let's try just do something where this is white. It's at white, so let's go a little darker. Let's go a little darker with it, a little redder with his skin, and darker. Okay, now what happens when we go into Iray? See, this is going to give us at least a better resolution to the texture. The thing with this dragon is most people are going to have the dragon like far away, flying in the sky and shooting arrows at it and stuff, and you don't need all of that resolution for something that's that far away. In fact, you really don't want that kind of resolution for something that's far away. And you want to be able to see the dragon's wings and see all the different parts of the dragon, the tail, and so you don't need to have the dragon that close. So this is a little bit too red. Okay. He was more like a brick red instead of like a inferno red. Oh, now it's too light. What have I done here? I think I brought the... Let's see what he looks like. What his... Let's go back to the Hellborn Dragon. Let's go to the default of what they gave me. I may have just washed out a lot of the color. Okay, let's put this back on him. This may be just all I need here. Yeah, it is actually. That's perfect. So now we go. Now he looks a little bit more. The sub D softened some of his. Softened the look here. Now let's go back to our camera view. And okay, so I've got some problems with his gloves, and his fingers aren't closed around the... So I have to fix those. So the way we're going to fix that is by turning stuff off. And we're going to go to 9. Control 9, that's back to texture shaded mode. Turn this off. And turn off ultra scene. Turn off the ground. Okay, I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to go to Object Lock. Alright, we're going to lock the camera so I don't move it around by accident. Now I'm going to go to the perspective mode. We're going to take a look, see if we can get in here and work with him a little more. Now I think maybe these gloves, if I take the gloves, okay, we're here, this is entire. Where are the gloves? Gloves. What if I just try to make them a little bigger? Go to parameters. Armor gloves, okay. And we just bring them up a little bit. There's that. Okay. That just brought them both up more. I think that might have fixed our problem. Now let's take these fingers, bend them a little bit. This way. Okay. Okay, let's just close this down a little bit. Okay, let's get in a little closer on that hand. I don't know what's causing this. It might be his beard. So I'm going to turn the beard off for a while, see if this the beard. It could be, let's take the bracers off and the shoulders, and all right, and this out. See, that didn't work. I don't know what it is that's slowing him down like this, where I can't really bend things and stuff. But this is okay. Well, oh no, I'm not even in Iray mode. See, this should all be fluid right now. Let's try filament mode. See, it's just as, it's just as, so it's just, so that didn't work. Okay. You know, I can understand people using filament mode who have lower resolution graphics cards. So I guess I'm kind of spoiled not having a lower resolution graphics card. I work with such large projects though. Eventually, you know, I do push them to the limit, my projects. Okay, so we're going to take this pinky here. All right. And his fingers are bunched together and then the pinky's out there. I think I'm going to leave that. It kind of looks like he's grasping it. But I'm going to take this joint and bring that down a little bit. Not sure what, just every once in a while you put something on your character and suddenly it slows everything down like this. So okay, I guess that's enough. Let's go back to the camera. All right. Save this with the changes. So that all that I had a problem with him. Now, I do have a problem. He doesn't have enough hair. So he's got hair, he's got facial hair, but he doesn't. Okay, so I almost just moved my camera view. So let's give him some kind of hair. And okay. So I could give him longer hair. The hair I'd like to give him is the Deckhand hair. Let's see, this is the hair I'd like to give him, but then I'm gonna have to mess with it. Okay. Is this the Genesis 8? Yeah. And it's the wrong color. Okay, it's not that bad now. What I'd have to do is tuck it under his hat. So let's play with it a little bit. Geometry editor, no, not geometry editor, mesh grabber. All right, why did that go way over there? Okay, it's here. Control L, turn the light on so I can see. Okay, I've got tires selected. Undo. Undo. All right, we have to select the deckhand hair. That would help. Okay, there's one side. Maybe this isn't going to be too terrible. Okay. Okay. I don't know why everything's backwards. Okay, it's because I'm not looking at it at the right angle. Okay, that's too much. Okay. Don't really have to worry about the back. Too much. Okay, now what I've got to do is get up close here. We're going to go to 2. Okay, I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, I can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, what I'm going to do, okay, we're going to go to 6. Push these in like this. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to edit, undo. This is going to go to 5 again. All right, now we're going to go to geometry editor. Delete. I'm not sure how much I can delete this without throwing his hair completely off. Yeah, I just ruined all my work. I can't undo polygon selection. I can't undo any of that. So it's not going to let me delete anything from him. And this just totally ruined. The only thing I can do with the Deckhand hair is hide it. Okay, so let's go back to the Deckhand hair. I'm not sure I want to even use this hair. Let's see. I'm not sure what causes that to happen as well. There's a lot of mysterious stuff about all this. Where's this hair? Warrior hair. And this isn't D-force, so it might give us okay. What do you got for materials? Can I even get it to the color that I want? Blonde, black, brown. Brown. Let's see. Intense brown, light brown. Let's see if that matches with his beard. No, but I think I can get it to match. What's this? Oh, it's a skull cap showing through the hair. Okay, let's see if what happens when we go into this tool, mesh grabber. Let's go to this warrior hair. Let's go to, all right, let's first try something here. Let's go to yeah, it did. It cost a very huge fortune, over $10,000 from my Daz library. But I love 3D art. It's just like what I love to do. And select, okay, this is selection mode, lasso, and so it's what I do. And so now we're going to try and hide some of this hair. Let's see how that's actually pretty fine hair, so this may actually let me get. So let's go geometry, visibility, hide, selected polygons. Now what's really weird is that I figured more would hide than that. Yeah, so I love my Daz library. I love working with Daz. See, that's really strange that it didn't let me hide more of that. What happens when we go into Iray? All of this is very mysterious how this stuff works. I don't really understand it all that well. Let's see if maybe it's just showing up here, but it's really gone, kind of thing. Yeah, so but the thing is, with my library, I made sure that I bought every bit of it in a like on mega sales. I don't just go out and buy something. I had to have mega sales. Yes, it is a very big I would call it an addiction. Yes, it is an addiction as well, and you have to be very careful about that. So it definitely, so it's really here, still here. So this hair, let's see if I can come a little bit lower and grab it. No, it's not grabbing these pieces in here for some reason, and I'm not sure why. I don't know why. They may not allow me to do it. So what I have to do is then go back here to Geometry Editor, to Mesh Grabber, and see if I can push this hair in. Yeah, it is allowing me to push it in. So we just push it in like this. Warrior hair. I can't tell what I'm doing. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's make it like 8. Now it's not letting me grab it all. It's only certain parts. I'm not sure. There's like a couple of different sections. I'm wondering if I'm grabbing the warrior hair. See, like there's something odd with this surface here. Like I'm grabbing the skull cap rather than the hair. I'm not sure. Or maybe I'm grabbing it from the back. It's not working. Well, that worked. Yeah, see, this isn't working. So I'm not going to be able to use this hair as well. All right. The other hairs seem to work better. Now I could put short hair on him, but that's kind of like the cheating way. You know, a Viking's supposed to have long hair. Casual long hair. What's this though? It doesn't say who it's for, but I think it's Genesis probably. I don't think that's going to look right on him. It's like shy guy at school hair. Now this is some Viking hair. For Genesis 3. This is a Dragon Bane hair. All right, let's see what happens when we go with this. And we're going to have to auto-fit. Some of this older hair actually is easier to manipulate because it's made from like a simpler time. This is Genesis 3 male. And this would be hair, shoulder length. Let's just grab that and see what happens. Yes, I could go with the hat larger. That's a good thought. The thing is the hat's not going to look right if it's like way too big, and it's got to look like the hair is actually pushed down into it. Let's see what we can get with this one's got braids, and looks like the hair actually for the most part is hanging kind of right. So let's see what we can do with this now. So we're going to go back to tools and mesh grabber again. Okay, now this isn't showing right because when we're in mesh grabber, hair sometimes disappears. But it looks like it's the real deal here. So we're going to go to mesh grabber first and see what we can push in. Okay. So it's allowing me to select it, so that's a good sign. And then we're going to go to 12. Make this a little larger so I can kind of move it in big chunks at first. Let's grab this piece here first. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Edit, undo. Red is the right one. See how that works? Oh, we don't want to twist it. We just want to... Okay, so we have this side almost done. And then we'll grab this piece here. And I think blue is the one for this. Blue and red. Okay. I'll come and fix that part later. Just gonna get it in the top here first. Okay, now we can make this smaller, like 2. And pull this out now. Now let's go to 4. All right, let's go to 2 now. Let's go to 1. All right, here. These are in little slabs, like, and I'm wondering if, okay, let's see if we have a hair cap. No, so there's no cap. Well, if there's a cap, it's like pulled down in. Oh, you can twist this a little. That kind of helps, actually, to angle it. Let's see what this looks like from a distance. All right, let's go out of this mode. We got to pull this, I think, out. All right, let's go back to translate geometry, back to mesh grabber. Let's grab his hair. Hellborn Dragon Bane hair. Let's go this 2. Let's zoom in a little more. Pull this out. And I think that's the way it grows. It just grows out of his face like that, his hair. All right, now I'm going to do another trick here. We're going to use 2 hairs. A lot of people, I for years and years I never thought, well, you mean you can use two hairs at one time? Yeah. You can give them, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and go to hair, shaved, and let's give him this hair as well. That's for the Genesis 8 male. And then we got the same problem with this hair, but it looks like it actually fit down in under. Now see, this gives him a little bit of a hair kind of thing here, and we got a problem here with a little bit of hair coming through with that other hair. So let's go to Dragon Hellborn. No, not that. The shaved head. Not that. The Dragon Bane hair. And let's go back to Tools. Mesh Grabber. All right, we've still got Mesh Grabber selected. Let's go to 5. Let's push this in. There. Okay, now this hair that I got in the background's the wrong color. So we're going to go to this shaved hair. Smart. Okay, and go to Materials. This would be just light brown or something. Brown 2. I don't know which one's the lightest. Brown 3. Well, that kind of works, sorta. Now, this hair is in little, it's in little, like little planes. They're tiny little planes. Let's see what this looks like now when we just, well, let's get a little closer and go into Iray. See what happens. See what it looks like. That's what, you know, a lot of people do is make the hat larger, and a lot of times it will work. But the thing is that with hair, it's usually tucked down in. Now, what I could do now is pull this hat back a little bit. So maybe now here, because it looks like he's got a little bit of room up front here. Now, I don't know if the hat's going to let me move it, but let's grab that hat. Now, the helmet, small horn helmet. Click the parameters, and I've got to go into texture shaded mode again. Will it let me move it? No, see, it won't let me move the hat, and the only way to move the hat, reset Z, is to unparent it, edit, and I think if I unparent it, it may move it like completely away from him. No, it didn't. So now I might be able to move it. No. Edit, undo. Okay, edit, undo, unparent. What if I unfit it? None. Okay, see, that moved it all completely away. Edit, undo. Now, I can scale it a little bit, but then that's going to bring it out in the front. Okay, there might be some hidden parameters on this. Let's see. Scene. Let's go to here. Show hidden properties. Scale. We have some scale properties. Oh, what about maybe it has some bone fill, opacity, visible. Okay. What are the follow transforms? No, that didn't do. Okay. Not sure why it's ignore local transforms. Okay, see, those are hidden, but they're off. Okay, let's ignore local. Let's try this now and see if it'll let me. No. All right, let's go edit, undo Y, undo Z, turn these back off. Okay. And let's try see if there's it'll let me move some of these other parts. Oh, there we go. So it's going to let me move the hip. Edit, undo, X transform. Let's do Z transform. And X. Y. Z. Okay. I wonder if I can move it with this active pose tool. I think that's going to move his head instead. Yeah, that moved his head. Let's undo active pose. PB. Okay, edit. Undo active pose. And we got another one here. Okay, here we go. One more I think that I did, 2 active pose. Okay, now if we've got this right, I think the scale would work also. Side to side, now we have a side to side. Oh, I have his head selected, not his, okay. Not the helmet. Edit, undo side to side. Let's go back to the helmet. That's why it has extra things. Short horn, small horn helmet. We have some scale parameters as well. We have rotate. X rotate. Oh, they don't work. Okay, we have to go to the hip. Okay, X rotate. Okay. And what about, okay, so I think that's about the best I'm going to be able to do with this. And actually, I think I can get in here with mesh grabber and grab a little bit more of this and mess with it. Let's see. So we're going to go back to his hair. Tool settings and geometry, mesh grabber. Okay, we have a problem here. Let's go to 3. I don't mind it coming through his helmet a little bit. Okay, now oh, I know what I can do. I can use mesh grabber on the helmet. Small horn helmet. This is going to be easy. Just just shape the helmet the way we want it to be. Just shape it like this. Make it fit his head. And then we can pull it in a little bit here on the sides. In the front. So you were really right, Ed, because your idea of like what you were heading it for was, you know, you said to resize the helmet. And so that's really correct, is that's what we needed to do, was resize the helmet, but not with the size commands, but with the mesh grabber. But it is exactly that. See how we can bring that right up to his skull? And then I can take this little piece here and go even down to like 1. And then bring these little pieces out, like just, okay, whoop. And helmet. It's almost like I've got a hold of his head instead. 2. It's saying I got the helmet, but okay, maybe this is, there it is. I've spent like hours and hours and hours messing with mesh grabber, trying to like make Michael clothes fit like a Genesis 8 character. So it's just so much you can do with this thing. But then it finally starts to look like it's, so you have to use it at the right size, or else you can contort it to the point where it looks messed up. And then you have to go into the mesh itself and like fix the mesh so that the mesh doesn't look. Now see this big piece here, this has got to go up to like 6. You make it really large like that, then you can move a whole chunk of it to make it fit. You got a spot here. Same thing here. Piece here. Okay. So pull this out a little bit more. This piece has got to come out a little bit. We can bring this down a little bit. Okay, and this can come up a little bit. There we go. And we got some problems with the hair here, but I don't think you can see that hair, but let's go into the Dragon Bane hair. Let's go to 4. Okay, let's go to 2. I'm not sure what I'm doing here because it's not working. Like it's not pulling the hair out at all. There it is. Just have to grab the right piece. This part's got to go in. I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to 6 again. And we're going to take this piece here. I can't see what I'm doing. Then we're going to pull this whole piece out here. I think we'll pull that out and then resize the helmet. There's some kind of like ponytail or something here, or like a tie. What in the heck is that? Tuck it back into his head and pull this up. Tuck that in. All right, let's pull that out a little bit. Just grab the helmet. Pull the helmet out a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing here, because if I pull that too much, it's going to look really weird. So I'm not going to pull that out that much. Okay. Now let's go back to the hair here. Pull this out a little more. I think what I could do is chop whatever that is underneath out. But it's like some kind of band. Okay. So what we're going to do is go back to like 4. Pull it out now. Yeah, I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do. Now this stylish shaved hair, I'm not sure why that's not covering. Oh, I know why. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make the dragon hair go away. Now let's go to this stylish shaved hair and pull this out. We're going to need that to be like at 6 at least. Okay, this works well on the stylish. Okay, we need this to okay, so he's got some kind of base under his hair. Okay, now these little spots, it looks like part of the, but it's actually little scars that the model had. Maybe it wasn't, but there are little kind of spots in this shaved hair. Okay, so that works. So now we go back to here. Let's turn back on the other hair, and that should give him, yeah, some kind of underlying scalp thing. It's just a little bit of something. Back to the camera. Save this. Okay. And now the Dragon's Bane hair is dark. We got to get him a lighter color hair, lighter material. Let's see if we can find some kind of material for that dragon. I don't think I changed the color of that. No, it's here. And these are, so we want, and that's what it is. These, it's a hair tie that's gotten all messed up in his hair. I could make the hair tie go away, but the hair that it's bunching up won't. So let's see now. Blonde, let's get it as close as we can to the color we're looking for. Light blonde, we definitely don't want that. So let's try this blonde. I don't think that worked. Pale blonde. Let's see. In Iray. I don't have his shoulder pads on. And if I put his shoulder pads on, they're probably going to mess with his hair. So he's probably not going to have shoulder pads. They will definitely mess with his hair. So okay. Okay, what have we got here? That hair looks pretty darn good. Now, we got a problem with his face here. So part of his, okay, I believe that's part of this stylish shaved hair. Tools, mesh grabber. Let's grab that. And I can't tell which way I'm pulling. Okay, blue. Thought it was blue. Pull this out a little bit. Okay, I think that might have gotten rid of it. See, I'm not sure what's going on with this little, see, there's something wrong with the bunches here. This one isn't right. So, and okay, so we're gonna take his hair color, his Dragon Bane hair, and we're gonna make it a little lighter. Surface is Dragon Bane hair. What do we got? Skull cap. Oh gosh, look at all the different hair things. Braid ties. Up head. Side braid fibers. Shoulder fibers. I don't know if I dare touch that now. I'm going to try the side braid fibers. Okay, we're going to bring that translucency color. Okay, we're going to try bring this translucency color down some, up some. That didn't seem to do anything. Oh, the translucency weight is really low. So let's try it with the base color. Hair base. Let's bring that up. The translucency color. Glossy color. Well, that's already up. That did lighten that some. Hair base, ponytail base. Let's bring that up. And base color. Side braid root base. Bring the side braid up. We're just making it lighter by bringing that up. And there's that. You know, you just say, oh my gosh, why didn't they just make it all one thing? But then on the other hand, you kind of like say, well, why did they make it all one thing? And so you can't change things separately, you know, and so I guess it's both sides of the coin. Braid ties, ponytail tie. I don't see anything changing here. Shoulder fibers. But eventually, so I'm going to change one thing. Is probably will change everything. Shoulder fibers. And there's the base color, the translucency color. Glossy color. It's definitely not PBR. Okay, shoulder braid born fibers. Okay. Let's try this. Base color. Translucency color. It doesn't look like anything's changing here. I wonder if I'm on like the skull cap. No, this wouldn't have all these things if braids mane. The braids are the part that I'm kind of hoping to get lighter. Just to fit with his beard, or I could just go and make his beard darker, but I kind of like the way the beard looked. There's something really wrong with this part of his hair. See, it doesn't look like any of that changed at all. Base mixing. No, ZBrush or Blender. I admire the programs and everything, and when I go into, well, both ZBrush, I used to work in modelers years ago, Pavray and True Space, and there were some other ones. I used to work in Bryce a lot. So, but I just, I kind of have a story when, years ago, I kind of got confused. I think I'm going to try to bend this braid with mesh grabber. I'm going to try to twist it. Is that well, that didn't work. Let's see. I started out with Poser. That Poser was the first program that I started using when it comes to, you know, I really don't think of like Daz as a modeler, and I don't think of Poser as a modeler. Like I think of Blender as a modeler. Okay. And so this has got to go down to like 2. And so I was under the impression that that Poser was like the main program, and that Daz and all of this, and that and Daz, and I thought that Daz made models for Poser, and that you were supposed to bring your models from Daz into Poser, and that was I think that's really kind of how it was supposed to be for a long time. And then I got it in my head that I was supposed to bring like the Daz the Poser models, get something in Poser working, and then export it out of Poser and bring it into Daz. Bring it into Bryce. And so that turned out to be, so that was kind of what my mind tried to get me to do, was to bring things out of Poser and into Bryce. And see, this sort of worked, but it didn't. I wonder what happened if I get rid of the braid. Oh, I think if I get rid of the braids, it's going to get rid of all the braids, all of the... Okay, edit. Let's try to do this again with a little bit more finesse. And so I kept trying to bring like Daz Poser, export them as like OBJ files, and I would bring like a Poser, like, and some of them were like the what are they called, the home models and everything. I had bought a few models, and I brought them into Poser, and they would just twist up into these big kind of like gnarly messes. And then I kept trying to bring things, export them out of Poser and bring them into Daz, and I would get like my figure, and then I would try to fit like hair that I exported out of. I had no idea that it was the Daz store, and then that you just click on things and they go into Daz Studio, and the hair goes on, and you don't have to do hardly anything with it generally, especially with short hair and all. So I just, it took me the longest time to figure out that I had to bring things into Daz. That I had to buy things in the Daz store and kind of stay within the Daz ecosystem. And so suddenly there was just this one day where every time I would try to bring things from Poser into Daz, it would twist up, or it would just like all of a sudden I'd go to tweak the hair and then their body, and then once I'd get the hair on them, and then it's like, well, then how do I pose them? And it was just like, I kept trying to import things from Poser into Daz, and it just didn't work. And finally I realized, oh gosh, if I just buy these things in the store, the hair will just work. And all of a sudden, so one day it was the most amazing epiphany that I could actually get a scene finished, actually finish a scene. So I think that looks better than it did. So I think I'm going to leave that like that. So I'm going to go now to my camera view and see what this looks like. It looks better than it did. Something didn't import right with that hair. So let's go now to out of Mesh Grabber. I think that's the best I can do with the hair. I could make his beard a little. So, and when I used to work in Bryce, my favorite thing to do in Bryce was to put a sphere in the scene, and then put the most incredible volume on the sphere, and then render it for 3 days. And Yes, that's the thing is, so I prefer staying inside Daz because I can create a whole scene. And if I go into Blender, I would spend like 3 days trying to make a donut or something, or I would, but in Daz I can use all of these models and create, a very detailed scene and not have to go outside of Daz at all. I so that's really where it's at is once I realized that it was like you go to the way the process works, you go to the Daz store, you buy a bunch of models, you buy everything under the sun, you get it on sale, you get it on, it's like 80% sale, just don't buy anything unless it's an 80% sale. And that's so I just realized that that was the way to do things. And now this sky right here is bothering me because of the banding here, and some of these things have banding. Now I wonder if I can find this same. Let's go into my HDRI all and see if these HDRIs. Now see, I'm seeing something now here. Okay, these are okay. 2.2.hdr. Okay, this is my HDRI. So this is a 7 called 7. I bet I can find this with a higher. This was 7, 6, 7, 7 HDR. What's the size of this? Properties. Details. 7K. You'd think that'd be high enough, but I think what's happened is when I changed the color, it threw off the white balance or something on it. Because when I open this up, this is 7K. Oh, this is in Photoshop. Photoshop really, I think, should have like an AI that fixes banding, like color banding. Yes, I can see a little bit of it here. There's like banding in this picture. You can see the banding coming around this. It's very faint, but you can see it. It's like little gradients of that where it's not a smooth gradient out to that. And there really should be just like you push a button and say fix the banding, or you just smooth in an area. And you'd think that I could like blur it. And you can, I think, to some degree, blur it. Just blur this out with a really big brush. This is the brush size. And once you get up high enough, it starts to get really big. See, that I think worked. And so you just blend out the banding. I think it's working. And then this is a JPEG. Oh, this isn't, I'm not sure why this is a JPEG and not an HDR file. Okay, let's go File, Save As. Should save it in the same place, and then we're going to call this 7 edit .htr. Okay. It is an HDR file. Now when I bring this in here, where is it? There it is, edit. So let's go back into Daz and up into here, environment options, environment here. This is the environment. Okay, see that banding really bothers me. And then we go here to this browse HDR. I don't know why there's two of these. Like here, there's, oh, that's somebody that I must have I think the first time I did this, some of them only a few, and I stopped it because it tried to put them into here, and that's why I have JPEGs here. It only got down, it didn't even get down as far as like 4 and 5, and then I stopped it. Okay, HDR 7, and there's the HDR edit. Maybe this might fix the sky a little bit. That's a little bit better, not much. So, okay. So his hair is better. Okay, let's bring back I think his gloves are fixed. Let's bring back the other elements in our scene. I think this all covered by most of it's covered by our dragon's head. Control Alternate minus is my hotkey for that. Let's turn the dragon back on. Ultra scene. Goes back on. Why didn't ultra scene? Okay, it turned back on. Let's save this. Okay. Let's do a render now. We're not going to put the shoulder pads back on him because they'll interfere with his hair. Okay, I have some more HDRs. Okay, let's see the Hellborn Dragon. Let's turn Ultra Scenery back off again for a minute. All right, maybe I'll try a render here. Because I was thinking of putting like a layer of smoke, just kind of like in around here, like smoke, like little swirls of smoke in the very foreground here. But faint, you know, just faint enough to make it look sort of like eerie. But let's give it a render and see if there's something we can see that's just obviously blatantly off. The dragon looks like he's looking over this guy's head. Let's see. Thank you very much for the likes on my video. Thank you. Very kind. Very kind to like my video. I didn't even ask. And there are so many, like, Daz is starting to slowly morph into a modeler. It's like having mesh grabber, you know, in Daz and being able to deform the mesh on just about everything. And also now we have VDBs, we have Parsis, and there's also we've got Mojo, where we can move and animation abilities in Daz. Plus, we just have this massive model library in Daz that's just amazing. So I think it's only a matter of time when tools like ZBrush. And you know what would be really nice would be a ZBrush plugin that you could just all of a sudden right within Daz use ZBrush, or right within Daz have Blender open right within it. Because you know, all this stuff, you know, it's not that much to have to learn, but this whole stuff about, you know, when you go to export something out of Daz and you have to set the centimeters and the world coordinates and all of these things and materials, and it's just quite a learning curve for somebody. I just don't. Now look, here's our texture here. I don't know that I'm able to really. Now this is better. Oh, look how rounded this now is. See, this was all jagged before, and now it's like all of a sudden it's kicked in, because these were jagged and now they're rounded. The what was that called the surface, I can't remember now. There's so many things. But it's all rounded now. These are all rounded. S. Yeah, well, his teeth are rounded. It all looks better now to me. I think it looks better rounded like that than it did coming to a point. It might have been the text, putting the other texture on it. It may have done something with that. This is pretty nice texture. The only thing is that it doesn't look very 3D. I'm wondering if I were to up the bumps. Let's cancel this and see if there's a way to up the bumps on this and make it actually bumpy. And I know I could use, probably there's going to be some kind of, I think I prefer like using bumps rather than normal maps. I think the bumps, when you can actually just change the geometry, it's really nice. This just looks all flat. It doesn't look like it has any contour to the shapes and colors and pattern of his skin. All right, let's see what we got. Let's turn off ultrascene for a while. So we definitely have now rounder. Let's go to 9. Okay. Let's go into, did that work? 9. All right, let's go to our Hellborn Dragon. See if we can bring out some of it's like it looks like this is all giant textured stuff, but it's not. It's all flat. And so we're going to zoom in on this a little bit and see what we can do with that to make it look a little bit more textured. So let's go to surfaces. Hellborn Dragon, this would be skin. Skin head. Negative bump, positive. So this is bumps, but oh, these are bumps. This is the actual bumps. Then there's bumps, and then there was normals here. There's no normal map to this texture. Subsurface color. Velvet color. I've never, oh, are these? Oh, that's the problem. His colors are 3D Light. So let's go here to 3DEL, and let's find our converter and see what happens when we convert this guy. Hellborn Dragon. Okay, scan. Okay, body, arms. I don't know. Eye sockets. I don't know which one of these, if any of these are from my other guy. I'm going to guess that none of them are. That these are all from him. So we're going to find matches. Lower teeth, upper teeth. I don't think any of these are from. Okay, all right. It's saved, so we're just going to go apply presets. See what happens to our dragon. I think this is going to radically change. I can already see these things. Oh, I may have screwed up my other guy. Yeah, because I'm seeing legs. Yeah, it's changing his face and stuff. Oh, no. I think I can go back and just put the same skin on him. I wish they wouldn't do that. This program didn't do that. Like, I don't think his there are leaves in here that it's changing. I don't know that those need to be changed as well. Those are like Iray. I mean, those are probably part of my. All right, let's accept it, I guess, and see what's happened here. Let's see, I think my guy is going to look radically different. No, he kind of looks the same, but let's see. Let's get up to the camera again. Let's see what this looks like in Iray. Now everything's been changed to Iray. I use this 3D Light to Iray a lot. But I find that it tries to convert my character and his skin and that's not right. It doesn't do it right because I think they're already okay. Everything looks kind of okay, sort of. I'm not sure. Let's go back here. Now I want to mess with this dragon skin perspective. Now I'm wondering if it took some of those maps and like used them for normal maps. And all right, let's go to our dragon. This is getting kind of complicated right here. Surfaces. Okay, dragon. We don't want the drafts. Okay, we want the skin head, skin. All right, how about we go down in here? Okay, skin and head. Okay, okay. Glossy color. Base bump. This is it. Skin. Base bump. Let's see what this looks like now in Iray. I don't see any normal map, but base bump is what you really want. Now look at the bumps there. Yeah, see now this looks like it's got some kind of like real reptilian shape to it. See, look at that. Skin. Before it just looked like a painting over his skin. Now it looks like and skin. Okay. I guess that's the best I'm going to be able to do. Pull out of that. I'm not sure that. I'm wondering if something messed with his skin. I forgot the name of this character. Okay, he's a 7. Oh, Tire. Oh, and I know why it switched his skin. Because he is... Okay, so we're going to put his skin back on. He is PBR, and so it looked at it, that PBR skin, and thought, well, it's not Iray, so it must be PB. It must be 3D figures. So we're going to find him and put his skin back on him. TYR. Here he is. I think his skin is PBR. All mats. Let's give him back his skin. And I could darken the dragon's skin a little bit. Let's see what happens when we give him back his skin. He's got war paint, but I don't think it's on the proper side. We could give him some more paint. Okay, it's reading the hard drive. All right, let's see if his skin changes color. I think it should become more normal. I think it lightened his skin, the Iray script. Yeah, it did. Now he looks a little bit... What happens if we give him the war paint? It would be nice if it was on his right side, but it looks like it's on his left side, so it's not even going to show at all. Yeah, it's not going to show at all. There's no point. Okay, so we turn back on the ultra scenery terrain. Oh, look at the... I think that's what the bumps did to his skin. It made it... That's pretty cool. There's a program out there that helps you that you can take your texture and it makes a normal map, I guess, for it. And not sure how that works. So I'm going to save this. And then we're going to hit render again. And I think this is probably where I'm gonna stop this video. Is at this juncture. We're going to let it render. Okay. Okay. Now there probably is a way that I can go in, could have gone into the what do you call it? Into the layer editor and move that over to the other side, the eye tattoo. But yeah, I think we got it. I'm not sure if that whole thing with the bumps worked or not. But we'll find out when we take a look at this here and see if the bumps actually worked. Well, it looks a little bit more curvy than it did. So there's more going on here than what was before. And we definitely got some of that the subsurface. I think this, and see, this is what really bothers me, these little jaggies in the texture and all. But it's okay. It's like to have this really kind of low quality texture and then looking through their mouth and these like very fine trees and all, and it just contradicts the scene in a way. But this is all I've got for a dragon. What I could have done was put the dragon further away, and then all of this would have been further away. The textures would have all melded into the scene better because the dragon was further away. Let's take a look at our character and see what's up with him. He looks pretty good. This, I don't know what's up with that, but and he's got hair going through his. I'm going to leave this the way it is. But I did fix his gloves. Now he doesn't have poke through on his gloves. Not that little bit of poke through there. That's probably going to be a Photoshop clone moment. Or maybe his gloves are just worn. There's little holes in his gloves. So at least we got rid of the poke through here. And so I'm wondering why it looks like his belt's kind of got all this. His belt should have been pulled out a little bit so that it doesn't have fur going through it. And I don't know. I think this fur here got messed up with his clothing textures. Because this didn't look like that. Something looks really wrong with the fur now. So I think I've got to go back and reapply his clothing textures, because I think his clothing textures are PBR as well. So, and I probably should fix his hair here, and I'm wondering if I just chop that little piece off, but then I don't think this would look right. So his hair he's got Viking hair, but so I don't know. There's just only so much that I can do to fix this, because I don't really have any. I may have other Viking hair now that I think of it, with braids and stuff. This was from Genesis figure, I think. Maybe it was Genesis 3, but it had to be Autofit and all. So he got his skin back, and usually I go in and take some of the shine off when I see skin like that, but maybe he's sweating. This looks really nice here. The glove textures, the leather textures look really nice. This is really nice here. Just some really nice textures in this particular armor suit. I am so amazed by the art that goes into these. Like, look at the little clover flowers and all. Just amazing the skill that goes into making these, so we can get them together into scenes and all. I would think that I would see stuff growing right up through his shoe, but luckily it's at the right angle that it doesn't look like it's growing right up through his shoe. Now there's this foot. And the same here. Luckily, it just happens to be in the right place where you don't see a branch growing right up through his shoe. Another thing for clone in Photoshop clone. So this should be pulled out, And then I think the color is wrong on his. I think this was supposed to be a black or something, and it lost its color when I did the so when I did the 3D script. So let's cancel this here. This is probably almost done enough that it could pass, but I'm seeing it didn't render enough in the shadows. So I'm going to change this. I don't like this yellow fur and all here, and I'm going to pull his belt out a little bit, fix his glove, pull the hair off of his. So there's just a few problems here. Okay, so we got some hair going through his leather there. This hair is okay. Let's just double check things and see. Okay. Now I had an Autofit option that said shoulder length hair, and I wonder if I used the other option, if the hair, but then I'd have to go back and redo the hair again. See, this worked out well. The hair underneath, it's like there was a lot more hair actually there. The guides that you saw, that you see with this hair are misleading because it's much more thicker. It's the style of the hair, the kind of hairstyle that. Okay, let's save this. Just give it a save. Okay, would you like to place it? No, I guess not. We're just going to go for here. Okay, this is what I want to fix first is the. So let's turn off ultrascene again so I can manipulate this. The dragon, I don't think there's much more I can do to the dragon to bring. Okay, now the bracers are going to be gone, so we might as well just delete them. I'm not. Okay, now where is that called? There, it's not the pants. Shoulder, scale armor, shoulders. Okay, fur, shoulders. That's shoulder fur. This would be. What is it? Armor belt. Shoulders. And we have belt bottom fur. That's it. So let's see, when I click on this and go to materials, it may not show up because, yeah, it is. It's right here. Oh, this is where I have other colors. Bell, that's the wearable. These are the materials. Where's the belt fur? Okay, this is for the belt. Okay, here, this is here. Wardrobe. Materials. Okay, if I go here and click on tire and do the Alaric all, it will do the belt again. This one has good like pathfinding. I think. Okay, I think that's different. It looks different now than it did. I have some other. All right, let's See, okay, now it's coming back. It should be the right color now. I don't think it was supposed to be white like that or cream colored. All right. Let's see what we got here. No, it says, oh, the concurrent viewers now. Okay. Yeah, so it fixed that. So, all right, there's one part fixed. Now we're going to go into this color. We're going to go into perspective view. Let's make the dragon go away for a moment. Dragon, Hellborn Dragon. We'll hide him too for a moment. Okay, let's go over here to our character. Well, where did you go, dude? All right. All right. Oh, my gosh, gosh, gosh. Let's turn it a little bit. Okay, here's our guy. The belt is going to be the first thing, so we're going to go here to belt. Okay, then we go to tools, mesh grabber. Let's grab this belt. Let's go to 5. Okay. Pull the belt out. No, that's not big enough. Edit. Let's go to 12. Okay, now let's pull the belt out. Okay, this isn't working. It's moving the whole piece with the... So that's not really that good. Well, thank you, Ed. That was very nice of you. I'm glad that you like, because it bothers me, because I know that a lot of people don't have much time to, and so watching a long live video to them is just like annoying, because they just want to learn how to do one thing, and that's it. And so this is, okay, so there's no way to cut this out. And so I really appreciate you saying that. So the belt top fur. Okay, fur. Can I grab the fur? No, see, this is not working for me. Okay, bottom fur. Okay, let's see. This not allowing me to cut the fur. It's just, you're supposed to put up with the fur coming right through the belt. And I just don't see any other way, hip, to get this. And I think the fur might be, it's because the fur might be some kind of D-force. Because this weight map adjuster belt, armor top, fur. Okay, and this, so, all right, so the belt's got to have to stay the way it is. So I just have a couple more spots here. There was something with his hand. I think it was right here. So we'll go with the glove. And we're going to go back to mesh grabber. There it is. And let's zoom in. Let's take this down to 2 again. And we're just going to pull this up. Sometimes it doesn't even show you when that's got a problem, but this time it's showing me. There it is. Little piece in there. Sometimes that happens because the fingers are too close and they're touching. So, and there's another piece here. This is part of the glove, is it? what's going on here. Okay, now I use Mesh Grabber like bringing something out, taking something into 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 like Blender to or ZBrush so I can adjust the mesh. I would never even consider that. I if I can do it right here in Poser, I mean right here in Daz, I will do it definitely without even a thought. Okay. So what we got here now is this same thing. We're going to go this to 5. We're just going to pull this hair out a little bit. So that it's not, you got to look at it from the side. Now I just pulled that out quite a bit. I guess that's enough. What's this piece here? Okay, at least from from a distance it's going to look right. Let's go to 1 here. Okay, now I didn't really see a lot of I don't think there's much I can do with this, so I have to be able to select the braid itself. One more, no. Okay. It's just, it's all jumbled in together. No. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm seeing a little bit of hair go down through here, so we're going to go back to 12. Back to 12 here. Let's pull this hair right out. There we go. All right. I think that's all the stuff that I could see there. Okay. Our fierce warrior here. So the gloves are fixed. The colors are fixed there. I couldn't fix the belt. The little spot on his finger is fixed. This is what you get to see when, okay, when you bring your character, when you render your scene so large, it's going to show you all these little kind of problems that you have in your scene. This right here doesn't look right. Let's go here. The thumb. Okay, let's turn these off. Okay, bend. Thumb 2, thumb 1. That may have been a big mistake. Well, it seems to... Okay, this is like not even something you can see from up front, but now I've got these problems here where the sub D didn't, well, it filled back in, and I'm not sure if it's going to stay that way. Oops, that's the wrong way. This guy is going really slow, and I'm not sure what caused it. It seemed to happen when I put the suit on him, and so it might be the fur in his, something in his suit just is like grabbing all of the computing energy of the scene. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but okay, that's enough of that. Let's go back to camera view. Save the scene. All right. I think I'm ready for another. I'm ready for a render. Let's turn stuff back on. Control Alternate minus. That's the hotkey I set up to minimize everything so I can get at it. There's one. There's our dragon back. Hold Control. Click on that. And that turns back on our ultra scene. Okay. So we are, and now it's all saved. So let's do another render. Let me double check, take a look at him and just see if there's something that I wanted to fix that I didn't. There wasn't anything on the dragon that I felt I could fix. So, or that it needed fixing, or that I could, well, that I could fix. So let's, I think that's it. Let's see what we've got. So yeah, you will find a lot of these long live videos. And what I would do, Ed, with my videos is go from, don't start at like the first one and then work your way up to the present day. I would start from the present day and work your way back until you get to the part where the parts where I was just kind of learning, and So yeah, okay, now this doesn't look like it's poking through his clothing anymore. That's good. This looks okay. It's just happens to have a really weird kind of twist to it, or a bunch. But that looks okay. It doesn't look like it's going through his clothes. Now this is the going to be the moment. Did we get rid of all of our... Okay, he looks like he's grabbing that well, and he doesn't have any more. So I don't have to take this into... Now the fur is coming through. The white fur is gone, which was terrible. It's coming through the belt. I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I could have turned the belt off, but that would have been, what's the point of that? So it looks like there are still some other pieces of fur, white fur, that got left. I'm not sure, but they're okay. I'm not going to fret over that. I'm not sure what happened there. Why maybe it's just quills or something from some kind of animal or something. I don't understand that, but it seems to work. So everything seems to be on right now. I can't really see my VDB. Let's see, the closest way to see it was here. Doesn't look like my VDB is even still here in the scene. I may have accidentally deleted it. Yeah, I don't see the VDB in the scene, so I'm going to stop this and find out why. I may have turned it off. Cancel. Yes. I may have accidentally deleted it. I wanted there to be a fog in the scene, so... Now, you know, on one hand, it's like I don't have to render this so large each time. But on the other hand, if I don't render this large, then I can't zoom in and see these different spots that have problems. So close this. Okay, what happened? There it is. I guess it's in the scene, but it's just not showing up. So let's go to Iray. I may have turned it down so much that it's just not really showing up. Surfaces. Oh, now it could have had its surface changed by... Okay, we're going to get rid of this, and by the 3 to light converter, it could have looked at it and said, "Oh, this is a 3 to light or PBR, and it needs to be switched to Iray," and it could have done something with that. Now the dragon's color is a little bit intense. I'm going to leave that. All right, so we're going to go to Smart Content, and we're going to go to find some of these things here. Where is it? Smart Content, All Products. Okay, VDB. Okay. Now I have to turn some of this stuff off. Ultra scene control. Okay, let's go here. Ultra scene. Okay, we'll turn ultra scene off for now. The Hellborn Dragon. Okay, I'm not going to mess with that right now. I'm going to go to VDB, click this. Here it is. Props. fog puffs. We have fog spindly and fog puffs. I wonder what this looks like in here. Let's see now. The sparse fog, square fog. I can't even see the guy in there. He must be tiny. Yeah, this is going to be lots of fog. I do believe going to be lots of fog. Oh, but this doesn't look too bad. This looks nice. It's kind of exactly what I wanted. So we can now take this and turn ultracene on and see what this looks like. And I am going to tone the dragon down some. The dragon's just a little bit too bright. I think I could use the brightness script to lower the dragon's brightness, and I don't have to. I can just lower everything. We'll see. Okay, now, yeah, I like this fog better. So we're gonna go Alt Control 9. Now this fog. Okay. Now let's select the dragon, and then let's go here to all products, brightness, and we're going to type brightness, turn that off, and we're going to go to this brightness manager. It's kind of, this is a way to cheat. Let's do it again. Utilities, brightness manager, and you just lower, click on the thing. You see how that brings his brightness down a little bit? Now let's see what happens. Go back to Iray. It's the same thing as going into the textures and just lowering the brightness for things, but it does the whole figure. It does everything and it lowers all the textures. It's a very nice little script. It does just one thing. It lowers the brightness on things, or raises them. And you can only raise the brightness so high on certain things, and then you have to go in and like lower the, what's it, diffuse, or not diffuse, it lowers the transparency if you want things brighter. Yeah, see, that's just enough. It lowered it just enough. You know, and I don't think I'm going to make the fog any less foggier. I think I like this fog. It melds the ground into the background and better. It's a fog of war. So, and I think I'm not going to bring the dragon down anymore, but that's actually nice now. It gives the dragon... It makes the dragon's scales look a little more 3D. You know, okay, so let's go with it. This fog is really nice. This is why I love this VDB fog. It's because I don't have to worry about my light source like with a plane, like a fog plane. I don't have to worry about the plane having to be exactly, facing the fog, or else it will, like, the light will bounce off it and make it look really weird. And I don't have to worry about the plane, like, going through and having his knee poke through the plane and not having any fog on his knee and things like that. It's just VDB fog is the way. You have to master it. You have to use it. It's the way to go. You want to buy every single VDB product out there. There's clouds, there's VDB smoke, there's VDB fog, there's just every kind of VDB product that there is. And then there's not Parsis, but there's another one. It's called, and I can't remember now. Something that I've been wanting to go. I've been reading the manual on Fluidos. Fluidos, you can make your own VDBs in them, and I have to learn how to do that because I want to create my own VDB patterns and stuff. And it's like, Fluidos is extremely complicated, but so was Ultrascatter. But I mastered Ultrascatter. I can pretty much do just about anything with that Ultrascatter does. I can do. And so I don't know that that Fluidos is the same. I think it's just like, but maybe it is like a lot of the parameters are redundant. You use them for the same parameters for fog as you do for fire and all of that. And if you learn how to do one thing like create fog or create a VDB fog, then you can create fire and you can create all these other things and sort of get your way around because the parameters are redundant. So I think I may very well be able to learn that. So this looks pretty cool, I think. This works. I like this a lot. So we are going to, we've hit save, and we're now going, this fog did it. See, if I hadn't stopped it and gone back and tried to put this fog in, it would have looked like too clear. And it's just it was bothering me that it needed something to make it. And the distant light, the orange distant light, is hitting that VDB fog. Thank you, Ed. That's very nice. Thank you very much for your comment about the fog. Thank you. That it is. It's that the VDB fog just really melded the scene and it was just too clear. Everything was just too clear. So thank you very much for your observation and compliment and comment. It's very, very, very nice. So here, I think this is going to finish this scene for now, but I'm going to let you see the render go and watch some of this come in. This is the fun part. And luckily I have these fast graphics cards, so it won't take that long to render. It will probably take 20 minutes to maybe a half an hour for this 10,000 resolution file to hit 2,000 iterations. And it's going to need it because of the fog. The fog is very iteration hungry, and it's not an incredibly bright scene. So there are some shadows in behind his arms and under his arms and things like that are going to require some rendering time. So let's see what our character looks like. So rendering things really large, and you can render things large even though you only have a 1080. You can still render things at 13,000 by by like 12,000 or 10,000, you can still render them that big, because if you're going to render your scene overnight, you might as well have it render all night rather than just like part of the night. And so you might as well render your scenes large like that. So I'm seeing, see, this is where these little spots where that's where it's going to take 2,000 iterations for those spots. And now look at this beautiful fog here we have. This is really, really nice. So it just blends the ground right into the and there's like the further you look through the fog, there's like a collective like look. It's almost like blizzardy look that blends that in. It's very, very, very nice. I really, really like. So that fog, if you go back in the video, and that one particular, if you don't own any VDBs, buy that one first, okay? And that is the one, if you go back in the video, it'll be here on the channel. That is by far the very best VDB for people who make scenes. And now if you need smoke and clouds and things like that, there are some other ones that I would recommend. But this one is almost like it's got a fog wall, which is very useful. It's very nice for blending mountains into your scene. The fog wall is just amazing. And so the cumulative effect is what I meant, is that how when you look through the fog, the further back you look, there's like a cumulative effect. It's especially noticeable right in here, which is nice. But this is actually not just the cumulative effect, but it's because there's a particular denser area of the fog, and so you have to move the fog around, and it's very difficult to do it because you can't see the fog in Iray, so you have to move it around and all. So, and there's another dense area here. So this is just really, I was lucky that when I put the fog in, it's like, whoa, I don't even have to move this at all. So yeah, it just worked, and it's not always the case. So I like the way that it toned down the detail here in the grass and all, which kind of makes the dragons, the fact that the dragon has some of this aliasing in his texture, that it's not quite as noticeable, because there's not that really ultra level of detail up close, which it's obscured a little bit, and that's good, because it brings the detail here. So this is all very good, very good. And this is always going to bother me, that the fur is coming right through his belt loop, and I'm not sure how to isolate those different geometry things. So maybe what I could have done was put two belts on him, put this same belt on him twice, and then I could have turned off the fur on one of them and then turned off the belt part for the other one, and then it would have sat on top of it. So that's a possibility. And again, I just might remind you that you can use two sets of hair at once. You can augment one set of hair that goes around his ears like that, and another set of hair that covers his ear. You can do that, and so and you can blend hair in with other hairs, and so it's not the exception. It's more like the rule, like to always be thinking of, and especially where Daz sells a lot of hair that is shaved on the side, and then it's like it comes up the top, and it just to me that hairstyle always looks kind of stupid on men. Not always. Sometimes it works, but it's just that the shaved side, and then this goofy looking things like it that just kind of sticks up. And I think that artists do that because if they shave the side, then it's easier for them to make the product, get it done, and sell it, than having to style the side and have it curls and put different, textures into the side. And really, really good hair, male hair, has wavy curls in this part of the hair. It's not just straight and back and everything. It's actually curled and has really good textures. And that's the sign of an exceptionally good hair artist, okay? But the thing is if you have a set of hair that has that wavy texture on the side, then all you do is you take that hair that comes up and the wavy texture side, and you put that on and you mix them together, and then you have a full head of hair style that works. And so I used to not buy hair that, I just would look at it and say, what can I do with that hair? There's no hair on the side, and the part that sticks up is goofy looking. And now I think and say, well, I could blend it with two sets of hair. And then you can use a little bit of mesh grabber and style the hair on the top a little bit, bring it down, move it over, try to flatten it down a little if you need to. So, and some hair you can't do that with mesh grabber, and I would like to learn how to take certain D-Force hair that you can't use with mesh grabber and export it out as an OBJ or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but export it so that I can bring it back in and then use mesh grabber on it. And so that's and once you get it seated on their head and everything in the right place and parented, then you can save your character or and save the hair so that you can bring it back in and it will fit to the skull again, roughly. So this is Beard Boss, okay? And Beard Boss, it's just I really underestimated this little twist came out okay, kind of. It doesn't look like it's supposed to look, but it came out okay. I underestimated the real power of Beard Boss. You can make just about any kind of beard, and it just looks so really real. It really does, the way it comes and curves down over his lip. Beard Boss, I don't know. I just have this thing about facial hair that it makes my characters seem much, much more real with facial hair. So I almost never make a male character without facial hair. And maybe it's because I'm partial to it myself, but it's also because it just adds another thing that makes your character, boosts your character's realism. So, and Beard Boss is by far, if you don't own Beard Boss, you could save yourself a lot of money buying this beard and that beard and this beard and that beard, and just get Beard Boss. And there's another product that does multiple beards all in one product, where you can just morph them and they change into different beards. Beard Boss is where the place to start when it comes to facial hair, is to get Beard Boss, and you can pretty much you get by with that and not have to buy a lot of other products that give you this beard or that beard or this beard, and they don't really morph that well and all that. Beard Boss is the way to go. So, yeah, and there's our dragon. So I can't really show you this all in one because it's, but you can see it's starting to rectify, and that's not a technical word that's used, but it's a word that I use when the little dots start to get really, really, really fine. I call that rectifying, and I don't know why I like to use that word. Now, I should have taken him in and taking a little bit of this shine off of his skin, but it's okay. It's perspiration. He's working hard. Okay, and I usually take the shine off the skin. It's just a little bit too much there, but it's okay. And so the other thing is, so this rectifying, that's when I'm going to know it's done, when these parts are done. And we're already up. This is at 10,000. We're already up to almost 600 iterations. So I kind of have a feeling that, and I'm not sure why this won't let me, I have to tab to get back into it. We're almost up to 600 iterations. And I'm wondering that, this will rectify quite a bit more. But even at 2,000 iterations, which will be roughly I would say about 30 minutes. This will be up to maybe 35, 40 minutes. It'll be up to 2,000 iterations. And this will be much, much finer. It will have, but it may not completely go. And the more that this rectifies it, the more this finer this fog becomes, and that's it's really nice. It's still going to be here. It's still going to look. You look at this and say, well, it looked a lot more. See this big chunk of fog? That's not going to go away. It's just going to become smoother. So it's really that fog product. Get it? Okay. I can tell you that I bought a lot of products, like the whole thing of converting clothing. I bought all those clothing converters, like convert all your clothing from, Genesis 3 to Genesis. Oh, it's like, do not buy them. Okay. Don't get hair converters. You can convert all your Genesis 3 hair to Genesis 8. They all auto-fit, and you don't need those products. And the same thing, so a lot of beard products and all you don't really need, because if you get the Beard Boss, you can get all of these a bunch of styles and save yourself some money. So there are some things that you just have to have, and sometimes with hair, if the hair looks kind of like choppy and not really that good, sometimes that's what you get. What you see is what you get, and it's no matter who you put it on or what situation, it's always going to look kind of crude and not necessarily work. And every once in a while you'll have this really choppy hair. A few types of hair kind of come to mind where you'll like I have some Genesis 3 hair that's just it's just all these little kind of shoots and pieces of like cardboard like put together, but it's for some reason it kind of works in a lot of situations, and so it's really hard to tell if this is like old hair. This is Genesis 3 hair, and look at it. It looks actually, other than the fact that it didn't auto fit very well, this is really pretty darn nice. This looks like very realistic hair. So it's hard to say with hair, and that's why I bought every possible piece of hair that I could get my hands on, and I usually do. This has all worked. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. I will, you may see this image in the Daz gallery. Okay, and thank you very much, Ed and John and Angus, for hanging out with me and keeping me company. And I really, really like it when you post in the chat, because it's nice to have people. Yes, thank you very much, Ed. I look forward to the next video so I can bounce things off of you guys. You guys are awesome. It's just so nice. This is why I do this, because, you know, I would work on this stuff alone, you know, anyway. But I like to do this live because I want to learn things. I want people to say things and say, oh, I use this and I use that. And so it's really, really nice to have other people come into these threads. So thank you very much, Angus. Angus, and Sigmund's going to say good night to Angus and everybody. Good night. Oh, that was nice, Sigmund. No, Sigmund, you're not 3D. You're a real bear. Yeah, you're a real bear, Sigmund. Yes, he's not a 3D bear. He's a real bear. Yep. And Hector, you got to say goodnight, Hector. Good night. Oh, there's Hector. See, Hector, you got such funny little hands, Hector. So, all right. Take care. I'm making myself laugh. I enjoy this. I don't know why. So we're going to go out with a little bit of polka tonight. It's polka time. And all right, so take care, and Sigmund will do a little dance. All right. Have a good night. Thank you for putting up with my antics and my rants. and oh, we're up to 1,160, and it's 23 minutes. So yeah, it's going to take probably another, maybe about an hour to get up to 2,000. So I'm going to let this run to 2,000. So thanks again. Take care. Please like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications on the video. And thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Alrighty. Good